Continuing with part 2 of our Light Up the Night mini-series, installing LUX Lighting Systems LEDs into my RZR. This is the Micro series. This is recommended for use for interior lighting for vehicles as well as street cars, dirt bikes, ATVs, and the like. They have a lot smaller amp draw than the Max series I was using for the rock lights. It's only 65 milliamps per pod, so I'm going to install 2 for dome lights. That'll be roughly 0.1 milliamps of a draw, so I'm actually going to just feed it with the switch itself. I got a switch here, just ordered one from UTV Inc. because that's where I got all the other ones from. It says dome light. It's illuminated, just like every other rocker switch that you install pretty much. So let's go ahead and put these in. I've already mounted the rear dome light. Got it on the center of the roll bar, right up under the roof, over the back of the RZR. I got it angled toward the back a little bit so that it can illuminate both the back seats where the girl sits and the cooler area. Should be nice illumination around the whole back of the machine combined with the rock lights that light up the ground around it. I have some zip ties on the bar to wrap the wire around to the top of the bar. I got it pressed up against the weather stripping that's on the bottom of the roof. And I run the wire around the corner, through the straps on my overhead bag, and then toward the front. For the front light, I'm gonna just attach it to this roll bar right here over the front seats, get it roughly in the center. Just like in the back, I'm gonna put a zip tie around the wire to keep it from pulling on the little light, and then I'll wrap it around the bar up to the top, get it against the weather stripping, bring it over, run it toward the front along with the wire from the rear, through the loops on the overhead bag, and then right to this area where I'm going to make all my connections. What I mean about making my connections right here is these smaller lights have 8-foot leads on them, and on this huge RZR the wire is not quite long enough to go behind the dash to connect to the switch. So I have an extra piece of wire left over from the installation kit that I ran down through the roll bar. There's a hole right here in the bar, just like there is on the other side where my light bar wire goes through. Ran this wire down, came out the bottom right next to my, I don't know if you can see it or not, but the vent line for the front differential. And then it went under the dash and just right out of the under the hood and right out of the dash where I'm going to connect it to the switch. So I'm going to use this wire to power these lights and connect them together right here. Alright, I've got the front light mounted, got some zip ties around the wire, got it run along the edge of the roof, and then it connects or runs along together with the one from the rear. A couple zip ties hold it in place through the straps, and then I've got everything prepped right here to put together. And what I've got is some shrink wrap from the installation kit, a couple pieces slided over these double wires, a single piece over the single wire that's running down to the switch. The 2 dome light I got stripped and prepped, got them twisted together. We're going to put those into a couple connectors and then tie these together. And then we'll put the shrink wrap on top of it, shrink it down, and then poke it all down inside the roll bar. I'm going to put my little red connector to the ground leads, crimp them down, go ahead and tie them to the ground through the extension. We'll do the same for the 12 volt. Now just to help protect these, I'm going to run this larger shrink wrap up just a little ways, about halfway up these connectors, but I want to leave it covering the exposed wires on this end. And then the same thing here, just running up to the edge of the connectors. I'm going to go ahead and shrink these, and then I'll take the next piece and slide it over and connect it all together. Alright, I got shrink wrap on both ends of the wires, kind of keeping them together, keeping them protected, and the piece in the center just holding the connectors themselves together. But I mean, this is inside of a roll bar. How much more protection does it need? I'm just going to feed the extra right through the hole, and that should be that. Alright, moving on to the switch. If you want a little bit of an explanation of where these wires are coming from and why, please watch the rock light video. In the interest of time, I don't want to repeat all that for this video. What we're going to do is install the 12 volt switched accessory power to the bottom right terminal. And again, if you need to know where this wire comes from, just please watch the part 1 with the rock lights. Alright, our 12 volt, the ground wire for the illumination we put on the top right. If you're looking at the back of the switch, we got switch 12 volt power to the bottom right, ground to the top right. Alright, now this wire with the zip tie on it is the wire we ran down the roll bar for the dome lights themselves. So what we have is the red wire is going to feed 12 volts, switched 12 volts up to the lights to turn them on. Looking at the back, we're going to put this on the bottom left terminal. When the switch makes contact, it will feed 12 volts to that wire to power the lights. Alright, the lights are actually going to get power from a 12 volt source coming from the battery. Now, this is my jumper I ran from this switch. If you're not using this, if this is the only switch you're installing, this is basically 12 volts and ground from the battery, but I'm actually getting it from under the hood. So, you'll take your 12 volt battery power and put it on the center terminal, and then the ground we're going to put on the top. So just quick review, bottom right, switch 12 volt power, top right is ground, bottom left is the wire running back to the lights to give them power. The ground from the lights is tied to the chassis ground on the top left, and then our 12 volt battery power is coming in on the center left terminal. And just like I did with my rock light switch and the other switches I've installed here, I'm going to take a zip tie and wrap it tightly around the whole bundle of wires so that if any of them get tugged on, they will work as a team and keep just one single wire from being unplugged from the back of the switch. And with all that done, I'm just going to go ahead and install this back into the dash. We'll hook the battery back up and then check them out. Alright, in 3, 2, 1. Let there be light. Interior light in this case. I hope this is translating well on the GoPro, but the interior of this RZR is really well illuminated without being overbearingly bright. You wouldn't want big blinding LEDs shining down on the inside of your vehicle. These are exactly what's needed. These were recommended to me by LUX for interior lighting, and they are working perfectly. As I have mentioned during the install, the front one is angled toward the front a little bit, lighting up the dash and the front seats, the floor really well. And back here we've got the back seats lit up, even the back of the front seats is lit up, all the way around into the cargo area is lit up. You can see inside the vehicle really well. Even the surrounding floor, as you can see, is getting some light from these things. The MicroColor LEDs are micro, but they are bright. Alright, let's go ahead and add the rock lights that we installed in the previous video. And you can see the RZR is pretty well lit up with nothing but the LUX LEDs that are powered. So let's hit the key. You can see the whole dash light up, all the switches come on. Good illumination here. We can fire up the light bar. It's really starting to shine in here. It's like I got the door open. We turn our headlights on, which admittedly don't do much. They're still halogens. I need to call Heretic and get that sorted. So in closing, another huge thanks to LUX Lighting Systems for these fantastic LED lights. The Max series I'm using for my rock lights, the MicroColor series I'm using for the interior lighting. Now once again, these do come in a variety of colors, but I chose white just for functionality reasons. I hope these videos have been helpful when you get ready to install your own. Can't recommend these enough. This was a great kit, great installation kit, quality lights. Well, thanks for watching, and we will see you either in the next video or hopefully out on the trails.